The small town of Rocky Top, Tennessee was once known as Coal Creek, and on the outskirts of this mountain town sits the Leach Cemetery. On top of a hill inside this cemetery sits a large obelisk with the names of men inscribed upon it, and around the obelisk, in concentric circles, are the remains of 89 out of 214 men, all of whom were miners and all of whom died on May 19, 1902, in what is known as the Fraterville mine disaster. The haunting part of this story is not the ghosts of these men, but rather the belief by some that ghosts are what caused these men to die. In the late 1800s, Tennessee, in an effort to get money for the state, began leasing its prisoners in what was known as convict leasing. Essentially, mine companies would get cheap work for their coal mines if they agreed to house and feed the prisoners, thus relieving the state of that expense. In 1877, the Knoxville Iron Company mine started using convict labor. On numerous occasions, the convicts were caught by guards in the mine, setting fire to methane gas and cooking wild game over the open flames. Over the course of the leasing system, 131 convict miners were killed in accidents within this mine. In 1891, free miners, upset that they had to compete for their jobs against the cheap labor of the convicts in the convict leasing system, fought against the Tennessee State Militia in what became known as the Coal Creek War. This war led to an end of the convict leasing system, and in 1901, the Knoxville Iron Company mine was abandoned. In 1902, miners in the nearby Fraterville mine accidentally broke through into a section of the abandoned Knoxville Iron Company mine shaft, and soon after a barricade was built to block off any foul air or methane from the discovered abandoned shaft. However, it was rumored that the ghosts of the 131 convict miners killed years prior in the abandoned mine could be seen walking around, and that was the reason for the barricade. On May 19, 1902, over 200 men and boys started their workday inside of the mine, and at 7:20 a.m., an explosion tore through the Fraterville mine shaft, killing all but 26 instantly. Those remaining 26 stayed alive in a small room for almost 7 hours. As they slowly ran out of oxygen, each penned letters to their loved ones before they died, with one letter reading, "Oh God, for one more breath." The Fraterville mine disaster is the worst in Tennessee history, and it wiped out the entire male population of Fraterville except for 3. While a gas explosion is thought to be the blame of the disaster, no official cause was ever given. While some family members of the dead reported seeing their spirits after the explosion, some others also believed that the explosion was caused by the ghost of convict miners, setting fire to the methane in order to cook their wild game. In fact, the Coal Creek Watershed Foundation has erected a historical marker in Rocky Top highlighting this ghostly theory. Although an exact cause of the disaster will never be known, the Fraterville Miners Circle Memorial will always serve as a tribute to those who died in one of the worst disasters in U.S. history.